But Soft, What Light by Carol Emshwiller. Originally published in the April 1966 issue of the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction, republished in 2 anthologies, SF Author's Choice 4 in 1974, and Rediscovery, Science Fiction by Women, Volume 3, 1964 through 1968, in 2024. It also appeared in 2 collections of the author's stories, The Start of the End of It All and Other Stories in 1990, and The Collected Stories of Carol Emshwiller, Volume 1 in 2011. Read by Darrell T. Smith II for my channel Quasar Spectra. But Soft, What Light? Uniq-o-fax, the only machine of its kind in existence anywhere in the world today. Uniq-o-fax. Uniq-o-fax. He isn't modest or immodest. He's neither proud nor humble nor shy, neither, what's more, truthful nor a liar, and yet both true and false. One could say a finder of the lie in truth and of the truth in lies. He, the infallible within the fallible, or the other way around, that must always be the essence of the poetic gesture. He is, in other words, all poet. And so I had refused to call him less than man, or to allow anyone else to do so. And, by the way, I was a virgin then, but I have since been transmogrified. Uniq-o-fax, a sensitive machine for combining words so fast that, like an infinite number of monkeys at an infinite number of typewriters, he not only could write, by a random selection, all of Shakespeare's plays, but almost did, at 10 to the 12th bits per second. Also, all of Mallarmé and Gide. Most certainly he is experienced, as anyone can see. I was his sort of Vestal Virgin. I was there, in other words, to see that he was surrounded by an atmosphere conducive to his art. I kept the fires of inspirations going by supplying him with words fraught with meanings, rich in sounds such as athwart, somnambulist, besprinkle, incommensurate, smirch, discreate, duodecimality, ingurgitation, furbished, crepuscular. He was 39 typewriters and a word bank. I was 17. One cannot hope to gain more by giving less. These days, we all know so well the laws of payment and of goods received. His very first words on the very first typewriter were, "I love you." Isn't that just like a poet? I was there simply to give, yet with full expectations of receiving, and in like proportion to that given. I was resolved to be the following: good-natured, trusting, patient, enduring, admiring, understanding, all my female virtues, and helpful, apt, illogical, but not too much so, malleable, and especially serving, women's privilege. "I love you too," I wrote back to him on that very same typewriter. Where, oh where, I often wondered to myself on snowy winter evenings, among all these wires and tubes is the actual seat of his inner being? "I love you," he wrote. "Let me count the ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, eye, neck, leg, Adam's apple. 5. Wrinkle under arm, big toe. That's 7, but that's not all. Let one who can count, count, and in a microsecond to thousands. Charms have never been better catalogued than this. From whorl of fingertip through pubic hair line, I love you." I remember that first time. You, in the rain in August, wearing your stainless steel fedora, bright as a sink, with your other units jauntily behind you. What a gay conglomeration! What a happy-go-lucky air! Hat back and something or other akimbo, sparks flying at each step. You hadn't bothered to put up your umbrella, and neither had I. The forsythia were not in bloom then, but if they had been, what a riot of yellow all down the street. I was a phantom of delight when first I gleamed upon your sight. When I went into the A&P, I saw you turn and follow. You bought 4 Tangelos at 49 cents a pound and a box of Band-Aids, and I knew they couldn't be for you. I, on the other hand, bought Brillo, glass wax, Sanif Flush, and a 3-way 50, 75, 100-watt bulb, and you knew I didn't buy them for myself. And later, after I had eaten all your Tangelos, and after you had used up my 3-way light bulb, oh, those were innocent days. We went uptown in a moving van and parked on 72nd Street. You wired for redundancy, 3 input, 2 output, repeated poems you had already recited, for, as William Blake says, you never know what is enough unless you know what is more than enough. And also, the road of excess leads to the palace of wisdom. And that was so true as far as you were concerned. And sometimes that night, when you had a distant look in your eyes, you said, upon my questioning you, that you were counting to the ultimate number, and at that many bits per second, I dared not even guess how far you had already gotten. And later still, I saw the sunrise reflected in your forehead, if that was your forehead, and I saw the shine of the moon go down on what might have been your nose. The very next day I applied for that Vestal Virgin job that happened to be open at the Office of Contemplative and Exploratory Poetry. Days flew by. I was happy. Winter, spring, etc., and then came the day the police arrested you for destroying public property. That night you had not only clicked chinks in the sidewalk all down 7th Avenue, but one of the units dangling after you, 220-volt 3-wire cables, had inadvertently leaned against a wall on the corner of 28th Street while contemplating possible trajectories to the Mare Imbrium. However, I pointed out to the police that you were indeed Uniq-o-fax, and, as such, certainly public property yourself, as aren't all poets? And that night, believing me to be someone of importance from the poetry department, they let you out in my custody. How we laughed when we finally shut the door to my apartment on the outside world. Why are you laughing so, Uniq-o? Are you convulsed by some tickling wire, some jerky AC/DC? Is there moisture in some sensitive spot? Are the logic gates not quite closed? However, redundancy, as usual, will keep you functioning in spite of it all, and I have plenty of wall outlets if needed. Is that ozone? A crackle of static? Avoid the furniture, please. Oops, there goes the Oxford anthology. In fact, a whole shelf load of poets. Ginsberg, Ashbery, Verlaine, Keats, in descending order of modernity, or does Ashbery come first? In fact, the bookcase. Lamp, too. The stuffing is coming out of the couch cushions. Snap, the little finger of my left hand. Laughing, laughing. Now he has crushed my middle toes, but I don't mention it, and somehow I manage not even to wince. Why should I hurt him? Spoil this magic moment when we're alone together at last? Tentative, embarrassed, yet sure. Why should I spoil it? How could I? I hobble backwards, laughing, to the bedroom and put on a fur-lined glove and a pair of old sneakers. Also loosen my bra and take off my garter belt. Laughing, I return. Oh, dear Uniq-o, ho ho, oh ho ho, ow ho ho, oh ow ho ho ho. He makes the first sly insinuation. As always, all poet. And now an impertinent interpolation, then a quiet interjection. Here and there an addendum. 3 input, 2 output. Likely infiltrations, fierce interspersions, intrusions, infusions, inroads, intermittent installations. I, audibly receptive, gently recipient, absorb, assimilate, stomach, become concierge of so many entryways, corridors, thresholds, vestibules, and sills. I merged until implosion. Then he interjaculates. I had no idea there were so many pubic possibilities. And who would have dreamed of such largesse in the midst of an all-pervasive miniaturization? Oh, infinite series of variables. Oh, wild west wind. At 10 to the 12th bits per second, what if my leaves are falling? But isn't it strange that after all that this I was still, to all appearances, a virgin? I will never agree with the personnel manager at the Office of Contemplative and Exploratory Poetry, who said that I was technically unfit for my position as keeper of the fires of inspiration. You see, I hobbled back to the poetry office as soon as I was able, only to find in my place a male psychiatrist of a fatherly type, but Uniq-o-fax, when I last heard, was suffering from closed circuits, from which I conclude, happily, that at least he never fell in love with anyone else. They say every 23rd, 24th, and 25th word he says is I and love and you, respectively, and due to his condition, I know he still means me. You've been listening to pre-1990s speculative fiction readings with a highlight on science fiction by Darrell T. Smith II. Please consider clicking the donation link in the description box. Thank you so much for your time and your imagination.